Hi there, I'm Sepka, and this is the Apatros review. Now in this episode I'm feeling a bit of a good mood because as a bad movie masochist I've given myself one helping of movie schlock. This. The Thing Below, which in Australia is known as Sea Ghost, and in Britain has Ghost Rig 2, The Legend of the Sea Ghost. Now this is a Canadian direct-to-video B film and premiered in the United States on the 7th of January 2004 and in Canada on the 28th of January 2004. It premiered on American TV on the 16th of September 2004 and was released on DVD in the United States on the 21st of August 2005. It was directed by Jim Wynorski, written by Roel Inglis, Keith Shaw and William Langlois, and produced by James Shavik and Kirk Shaw. Now the cast includes Billy Warlock, Jim Thorburn, Catherine Loch-Hadquist, Pete Graham, Kurt Max Runte, and Kiara Hunter. Also, one of the cast is from House of the Dead. The guy who played G at the end of House of the Dead, Colin Lawrence, stars here as a merc. Now the Australian DVD comes from Flashback Entertainment, which is it's a multi-zone disc, so you can play it anywhere in the world, format notwithstanding, and it's 185 anamorphic widescreen, English stereo in the 192 kilobyte range, no subtitles, no supplement, and runs for about 90 minutes and 38 seconds. Now the infamous D-level schlock hack director Jim Wynorski makes another one of his trashily awful cheap direct-to-video schlockers with The Thing Below, which was released in Australia as Sea Ghost. By the way, the title of this review print DVD is Sea Ghost, but actually for my cover I actually wrote The Thing Below as you can see I wrote that in the cover. Might find my cover for it. And in the United Kingdom it was released as Ghost Rig 2, The Legend of the Sea Ghost, in a pathetic attempt to market this as a sequel to the original Ghost Rig, which the original Ghost Rig was actually called The Devil's Tattoo. And see, during the early to mid 2000s, British DVD distributors had a really bad habit of retitling certain unrelated genre films to market them as sequels to each other. That was something the Brits did quite a bit during the 2000s. Now, with this film, Wynorski mounts a cheap rip-off of the likes of Proteus, a rather brainless 1995 B film, which I'll review in the future, which was itself a rip-off of the 1989 monster flick Leviathan, that film being an underworld version of the 1982 masterpiece The Thing. So it got like a fourth generation thing here. Needless to say that this fourth generation version of the polymorphic Antarctic Menace is one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of pathetic things over the 30 plus years I've spent watching movies. A seriously ancient alien life form that has been trapped inside an air pocket deep in Earth's crust, roughly 15 miles below the surface, has been extracted by an accident during an exploratory research drilling project. The researchers aboard the former oil rig to convert to a scientific laboratory place the creature inside a shielded container due to the excessive radiation the creature is emitting, enough to tan an elephant 100 meters, and ship off a sample of the creature to the United States aboard a specially chartered cargo ship. But thanks to an impatient government agent and some careless assistance, the sample container is accidentally broken, and sample's attempts to escape cause the ship to explode. Meanwhile, one of the original researchers who had left the oil rig facility to submit a report on the find to the US government returns to the facility along with a team of mercenaries and a CIA liaison, only to find the place deserted. The only survivor the team finds is the brother of the merc's leader, and as the team attempts to investigate, the creature that had been stored there had escaped, decimated the original crew, and is now going after the mercs, using its ability to psychically project the thoughts and desires of its victims to start snacking on plucky mercs. Now, to be fair to Wynorski, he wasn't responsible for the awful CGI effects that was used in this film. It looks like an elementary school student's homework assignment. As once he left the production, the studio hired some complete idiots who had no experience in doing VFX to make the effects here, and the rest is schlock history. But while there are many people who don't exactly judge the film purely on effects alone, believing that The Thing Below is not exactly a bad film, I respect that. But now, the reason why I personally consider Jim Wynorski's post-millennial films to be worse than those of his good friend Fred Olen Ray, even though both directors make very similar films of the sort, is because while Fred Olen Ray makes his films of professional competence that was gained through years of experience and modicum skill, not resorting to stealing footage from bigger budget films to disguise as low budgets, and treating his films with just the right combination of seriousness and humor, so when you watch a Fred Olen Ray film, you know the movie isn't Shakespeare, but at least it's an amusing ride of a joke and you're in on the shared joke. As for Wynorski, his films have very badly written scripts, for the most part. The characters do some very stupid things, something in space for this particular film, Jimmy Boy has a bad habit of stealing footage from bigger budget films, such as the 1999 sci-fi flick Virus for this one. If you pause the film right before one of the explosions in the cargo ship starts, you'll see the monster from Virus, one of its victims, for about a brief second. And while the flashback scenes of protagonist Billy Warlock telling his brother about his Navy SEAL days was ripped from the Royal Oaks action of Steel Sharks, which I covered in the past, and his brother's recount, itself coming from Deep Evil. That last one not necessarily a sin, since the studio that made the Deep Evil, which was a Lorenzo Lamas B film, which I'll review in the future, also made this film. And the post-millennial Wynorski habit of having a covert G-Men black suits as part of the Rosso character is something of a bad joke you're not invited to. Now, for the thing below, if the atrocious effects weren't an issue, I would have given this a D, 2 out of 10, or maybe a D plus, 3 out of 10 if I was charitable enough. But the story here does some very stupid things. I kind of like the idea of giving the crew of mercenaries each their own backstory and attributes, but unfortunately these attributes don't have any positive impact. Instead, each merc is dominated by their allocated attributes. The cowboy finds himself in a psychically induced simulation of a high noon shootout against some bot wearing a Clint Eastwood poncho. The female merc confronts the location of the train accident that killed her husband and son, even carrying simulations of both of them. And dumbest and most hilarious of all, the merc with an obsession for a certain adult film actress encounters a simulation of said actress, who goes full boobs out during her striptease. The actress here is Gloria Ann Gilbert, and her massive boobs give you the impression that they were blown up with a bicycle air pump. Well, either that or the plastic surgeon conducted augmentation around silicone that day and put in a pair of beach balls that had only half inflated. Yes, they looked that bad. A sequence that runs for a couple minutes and which will leave you in stitches. I'd be here for the better part of an hour or so if I detailed every single thing this movie got so wrong, but I don't want to bore you, and I don't have the tech to do an hour-long video, plus upload time would be ridiculous for me, so there's that. But I will conclude this burn job in the idea that the cargo ship had to sail right for a storm, instead of making a slight detour at the expense of maybe a day or two of travel time. If I was the United States President and the CIA was shipping me an ancient alien, I'd tell them to take every precaution they need to in order to make it here safely. If you only got one shot bringing it here to me, time was not an issue. Plus, I'm a patient guy, having once waited 2 weeks for a high school teacher to give me something I needed for a homework assignment. So there's that. We all know how the Democrats have infiltrated every U.S. institution. Many former CIA piggies have come out to make the now discredited claim that the stories were hunted by his laptop were Russian disinformation. Only now we know that those former agency porkers are telling a huge porcupine, and now they're in serious trouble. And the CIA guys in this film definitely feel like they vote for Hillary. Now the thing below gets the dreaded D-, 1 out of 10, meaning it's an absolute shitfest of a cheap sci-fi direct-to-video B flick. It could have been a D or a D plus at most, but the piss-poor writing and pathetic effects really sinks this one to the bottom of the ocean. Now for gore nudity, there's no gore here, strangely enough, but the nudity is provided by Gloria Ann Gilbert and her badly augmented chest melons. Now for the DVD, it's been a while since I reviewed the DVD component of a film here, but the thing below, or to use the Australian title Sea Ghost, comes from Flashback Entertainment. Once the country's leading cheap $2 recommended retail price DVDs, they could buy from practically any $2 shop in Australia, from about 2004 up until about 2010 or so before the bottom fell out of the bargain bin DVD market. As was the case, I bought this for about half price, $1. In the later stages of Flashback's market today, some DVDs you could buy for some shops for $1. And the disc looks like a typical Flashback product. A decent picture, so decent you can see how bad CGI effects look in certain scenes. Flashback had a good reputation for being the best quality for $2 DVDs, making them look like $10 DVDs. With a simple but effective for the budget Flashback film strip 2.0 menu design that they started to use around 2007 or so, and the English stereo track sounds good too. No subtitles here, and there's no supplement either. Both par for the course for a Flashback disc. So you're not going to get subtitles or a supplement for a Flashback DVD. Actually, some Flashback DVDs did have supplements on them, but those are rare. Okay, that's it for the thing below, aka Sea Ghost, aka Ghost Rig 2 Legend of Sea Ghost. Gets a D-, 1 out of 10. It's crap. Okay. I do not do requests, but if you have any questions about DVDs or films in general, just hit me up in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer. Hope you guys are staying safe, taking it easy, and that's it for this review. See ya.